Hello everybody, Fridrich here. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on F2L. So F2L is the second step in the Fridrich method, the first one being the cross, then F2L, where you get each of these pairs in, and then OLLs and PLLs, but I'll be covering those another time. So what you're going to be doing, there's not really any main algorithms or anything. You're just going to be basically doing moves like that and like moving them in, moving each of these pieces in different ways and all that. So the format of this video is going to be like this. You see there's a border around here, and there's my logo, of course, F2L, and subscribe if you like it. So here are all the cases on either side. So how you're going to do this is, of course, you scramble it up, and we'll quickly do the cross. Kind of hard to do this through the viewfinder. So we have the cross, and then we find a pair of an edge and a corner that will fit in a slot like this. And so if I look through here, I can see I found one that's right here and here. So these are the two pieces that we're going to be using for F2L, because you can see they're a pair. So right now in this case, I see I have this piece right here, this piece right here. So I have at least one edge or a corner in a slot. See, that's right here. And I look around and I see that this one is the one that I would pick. And so you can either watch the video all the way through and learn each of them as you go, or actually solve the cube alongside me and then click which one you need when you need it. So for the simplicity of this, I'm going to, every time I'm going to be using the white, of course white, green, and red piece. And so I'm going to be putting in this slot. So you're going to be putting in each of these different ones, but yeah, I'm just going to be demonstrating with this one. So let's begin with our first case. So the first and most basic step that you may get is you will have both the corner and the edge on the top layer, and the top colors are going to be opposite. And so we will hold the corner piece above the slot that you're putting it in. And if the white piece is on the left like this, we will do it like this, so that, and so you match them up like there, and then that, and that, and you see it comes in there. And so you can just do it like that, and it just goes right in. You may also get the reverse of this, where it's on the right side, in which case you'll just have to do that, that, that. So just the mirror of it. Although most of the time you won't get it just so lucky that you'll be able to do this and they'll match up. So sometimes it'll be something like this, where it's like this and that, and if you try and do this, it won't match up, of course. If you try and do this, the piece isn't even there. And so what you're going to do there is you're going to make sure that there's an empty slot back here. That's very important, that it's empty, otherwise you'll end up breaking the pair that's already in there. And then you'll just put that down, so hide that corner, and then you'll move the top layer like that. And so it's in the place that you want it to get to, and then move that side back up, and so they'll be in the right place. And you can put them in like that. And note that, of course, the opposite of that, you do the same thing. So that, and then that. And for the rest of these, I'm not going to be showing the reverse of the algorithm. I'm just going to demonstrate it like this. So for when you get them both together like this, you can imagine it's just the same thing, only you have to rotate the upper layer twice. And so you see it's right there, and you can just do that and put it in. And then actually the last case is a little bit different, because if you have it right here, you can't just do this, that, because you're hiding this piece too, and it doesn't do anything when you turn the top layer. So for this one, you're actually going to have to turn it and do, hide it this way, so like that, and move that into place, and then move that back up. And so they're in the spot that you can just do that, and it'll be solved. You may also find that you have two of the same colors on top. And so in this case, you would basically do the exact same thing that you did in the beginner's method when you were getting the corners in. So you just do that, that, and that, and it'll just go right in. And of course that is the same for the opposite of it. If your beginner's method did something more like this, 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 that will work too. It still does the exact same thing. Now another case that you can get when both of them are on the top is like this. And so you'll keep the white right here, do that, 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 and so just get them right next to each other, and then put it in. And then of course you can have two of them opposite like this, and do that so they're together, and put them in. Now this case is a little bit different than the other ones, because if you hide it like this, it'll also hide the edge, so you can't do anything. And then if you hide it like this, you can only get it to these locations, because if you try and put it in that location, it'll just hide itself back in there when you try and put it back. So you can do one of two things. You can either put it into one of these two locations, and then from here put it like that, so you can then put it in. You can also do another weird trick and just do a move like that, and that way they will actually have opposite colors, and then you can just do it just as you do in the first method, like that. And of course for all these cases you can also just do the opposite of it, so like that, and put it in. Another case you may get is when the corner that you're trying to put in has the white side facing up. And for that, what I basically do is you just move it either like this, and so the red side's up, or like this, so the green side's up, and then you move it out of the way, and so both F2L pairs stay on the top. You don't want to do this because it'll just go into there. So then you do this, and then from here you'll either have this case or this case, so you can just go to there and figure out what to do. One of the more difficult cases you can get is when the edge is in the right spot, but it's turned wrong, and of course the corner is not in the right spot. So from here, you're going to have to put the edge onto the top layer, and so you can do one of the things over here. So what I recommend doing is finding the opposite color of what's on top, so in this case green. And so we'll want to be doing this case right here, and so we're going to want to put it right here, and with green up. So to do this, I can simply see, I do that, I put that into place, I move it over, and you need to make sure that both of these are not in these three pieces. And then you put it back down, and you see you just have one of the cases over there. And so from there, you can solve it. And make sure when you're doing it at first that the corner is not, say, right here or right here when you're doing the green. And because otherwise it'll just mess it up and make white on top, which you don't want because it's really inconvenient. And one more thing that I forgot to mention when I was filming this video at first is that if you have white on top and you have it in here, you can simply put it over here like this, and then take it out like that, and then put it in like that. So one other tricky case that you can get is when the corner is in the spot, and of course the edge is up here, but it's in the wrong position. So what you're going to do is you're going to find one of these two pieces, and the one that is not white, and so in this case it would be red. And so now we will look at the piece up here, and if the top piece matches with this piece, then you're going to do something like this, so they're right next to each other, and then of course it'll be the same as that move, and you can just put it in like that. And if, say, you have green up here, and it's the opposite color, then doing this would just put them right next to each other, so you don't want that. And so instead you would put this in the back, and so when you put this up, and then hide these out of the way, put it down, then you will already have the case, so you can do the case up there really easily. So one of the last and possibly most tricky cases that you can get is when both pieces that you're trying to do are already in the slot. And so for this case you're going to get these out up onto the top layer. But of course if you just did something like that, then the white would be on top, and we don't like white being on top, as you saw. So we will find the side that does not have white on it, like this one, and then do something like that. And so it's on the top. And then from there you can simply follow the other things along there and get it in. So these last two are just some little tricks that I learned, and that's if one of them, either the edge or the corner, is already in, and you need to get the other one into there. And so this will only work if you have another open F2L slot, so if this is your last one, this will not work. So in this case, you would make it and actually turn the bottom layer, and so this is the piece that needs to be white, green, and red, and so you move it over here, actually, and then you find the piece that's on the top and put it in, just like in the beginner's method, and then you actually move it back, and so the F2L pair is solved. And if you have the corner in here already, it's almost the same thing, only only instead of putting the edge in a separate spot, you'll actually move the bottom layer just to get this out of the way, like that, and make sure there's an empty F2L slot over here. And then you will put the edge in, make sure it's opposite of right here, so when it goes in it'll be line up of centers, and you'll move it back and it'll be in there right. And of course, if you have all the rest of these solved again, you won't be able to do this trick because it requires an extra F2L slot. Although if you have a corner in, you can just do the same beginner's method algorithm that you used to do, so like that, and put it in, and it'll save you a couple extra moves. Okay, one more very quick note that I forgot to mention earlier is if you have this one, the edge incorrectly, and the corner in down here incorrectly, you will do the same thing as if you had the edge swapped. So you find the one that's not white and have this one, take it out, and then line it up and put it in. Also, if you happen to have another open F2L slot, you can move the bottom layer like that, just like we did earlier, and then take it out and put it back in, just like you would do in the beginner's method, and then put it back. And then finally, if you have the corner incorrectly but the edge swapped, you can simply take it out, bring it back here, bring this down, and do it just like you would normally. You may already even know that algorithm from the beginner's method. So that's just about it. And just to clarify, after you get the first two layers and you have the last layer to do, most of you will just know the beginner's method for the last layer, and so you can just continue on doing it like that. And so, do this, and then get each of the pieces in the right spot, and then rotate them. So yeah, it's basically the beginner's method. So I know that might have been a little confusing to follow me, since I might have been going kind of fast and I haven't been explaining it super well. And it may be a little bit hard to wrap your mind around mirroring the algorithms that I do. But with a little bit of practice, you can get pretty good at it. So eventually I'm going to make a tutorial on OLLs and PLLs, which is an alternate way to do the last layer. But that'll be a while. But there will be a link in my outro once I do have it. So yeah, that's just about it. If you have any questions or comments on the video, or like there's any cases that you think I missed, or you're having trouble with something, then leave them in the comments below. And I'll see you next time. Bye! Oh, it didn't fall. Fall! Okay, whatever. I should just do that. I'm gonna do that. Here we go. Perfect. Almost.